Squad up, nigga. Slap go crazy on this one. On God. I crossed all my T's. I crossed all my T's and bullseye all my eyes. I won't let it affect me, nigga, less I'm slow on my grind. Freedom niggas still waiting on time. Most of the bitches in my DM always speak about my grind. I crossed all my T's and bullseye all my eyes. I won't let it affect me, nigga, less I'm slow on my grind. Freedom niggas still waiting on time. Most of the bitches in my DM always speak about my grind.
It's Snake Dog 916 coming at you live from Sacramento, man. I know it's been a second, but guess what? We back with another session with Sandman, man. Good morning, Sandman. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. How about you? It's been a while.
Yeah, just got off work, man. We had to get back on this session. We both been busy doing our stuff as usual. Don't get it misconstrued. For those naysayers, we just been getting it like we supposed to. And now we back with another session for y'all. But first and foremost, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And if you got something you want to see content about, hit us in the comments, man, or message Sandman at on his Instagram at Sandman2788, and he'll get it on the list, man. And we definitely will get to it. Just give us time. Be patient. Be patient. You know, because we got real stuff. He doing school, and I got the real job to do. So you know, we got stuff to do.
Yep.
But this is important too, because we're trying to get this message out there. So today, what we on today, man? What we talking about, man?
I want to go into long lockdowns because a lot of people talk about them. They talk about the food. They talk about other stuff, but they don't tell you what it does to your brain, what it is like being locked down for 18 months in the shoe or whatever with another human being and what it can do to your psychological, mind state.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to say, first of all, it's a difference between being on a lockdown and being in the shoe. Because a lockdown is when you're on the line and something happens and you guys get put on a lockdown for whatever situation it may be. In that situation, usually if you active and you part of a organization, shall we say, that is with this stuff. You know what I mean? That's constantly getting involved in stuff, and you're expecting stuff like that to occur. Then most of the car is building up for a lockdown. You know what I mean? Like conserving food. Have you got a lockdown bag under the bed? I kept a lockdown box under my bed. You know what I mean? Or a laundry bag tied up with specific stuff that I kept under the beds that I didn't touch. And if I did, the same store, I went back in and replaced it. You know what I mean? So I still had that. Shall we say, just go bag, like just in case, and usually when you're in the when you're in a lockdown on a yard, you're in there with your cellie. So someone obviously most of the time you've been living with for a while, so you guys know how to program around each other. You guys know how to function in the cell. Because usually when we're on lockdown, we're not really coming out for showers like that. You know what I mean? And they're not giving you showers every day either, but you're still getting up and working out every day. So it's like you bird bathing and you take it turns, you learn how to move around each other, and you still got your TV and your radio, and you can function like that if you're used to it. However, when you're in the shoe, it's different, right? Because one, more than likely, you've been put in somebody, most of the time you're being put in somewhere in a cell with someone you don't know. You've never spent any time with this person. You've never, of course it'll be a homie, whatever affiliation you are, they're going to put you in there with a homie. They're not going to put you in there with an enemy or put you in there with somebody that is going to be detrimental, especially in the shoe. In the hole in the shoe, they're real strict on who they put you in the cell with, because most of the time you're already in there for something violent. Most of the time. So they don't want to put somebody that's already showed a propensity for violence in the cell with somebody who they're going to want to commit that same kind of violence against, because then they're going to be liable. That's the only reason. Not because they don't want you to get in trouble or they don't want this person to get hurt. It's mainly because they don't want to be liable. They don't want
lawsuits covering their own ass. Yeah.
Right. It's more they don't want to be in trouble, man. They don't care what we do to each other in there. You know what I mean? They don't. I've seen people look the other way when stuff was happening inmate on inmate. There was a time in High Desert, not to get off the subject, but there was a time in High Desert where it was pretty much a known fact that you could do anything you wanted to do to anybody else. You just couldn't do nothing to staff. If you did something to staff, they were the Lassen County was picking it up. But if you didn't do anything to staff, I caught a case not caught a case, but I got a DA referral for stabbing a dude in High Desert, and the DA kicked it back out.
Wow.
Lack of evidence. Witness refused to testify, regardless of the fact that the guards seen it happening, you know what I mean, and whatever else happened in the day room for that incident. The DA kicked it back. I had a little yellow slip. DA referral denied, and then the reason marked below was lack of evidence. Witness refused to testify. It's like, but if that would have been a staff member, they would have booked me. You know what I mean? But when you're in the SHU, not only are you're in there with someone you don't know, who you have to get used to, and then you got to see what kind of political agenda they're on. It's automatic. One thing about the SHU is it's automatic green light with pretty much everybody. You know what I mean? In the SHU. So if the doors pop, you got to have that mentality in your head that if the door pops, it's already on. You know what I mean? Period. Because the door shouldn't be open. And like I said before, the door shouldn't be open unless you handcuffed already. And it's like that isolation. Like, you got to remember, you not moving out that cell, period. Forever, how long you in there, you're not moving out that cell without handcuffs on. And you only go out to yard like every 3 days for like 2 hours. And then you get a shower every other day. You know what I mean?
Are the cells different sizes from the original, like the ones you would be on a lockdown on the main line?
Well, it depends on what, like, well, I've only been to Corcoran SHU. Okay. So I don't know what the Pelican Bay SHU cells are like, and I don't know what the Tehachapi SHU cells are like. But the Corcoran SHU cells, they're different. They're called bedrock, right? So in the bedrock cell, the cells are the beds are side by side, right? So in a regular, they're not stacked. They're side by side.
Yeah, bunk beds.
Yeah, they're not bunks. They're side by side. I don't know why it's like that. There's no metal in the cell except for the toilet. Like, it's all concrete. The bunks are all concrete. Like, it's been formed. It's just a big concrete piece. And then the lockers are like molds they put in the bottom, like two holes in the bottom of the bunk. That's the way so basically you sleep right next to a guy. There's like 2 feet in between each bunk. And you're like 2 feet from him, you can hear him burp, you know what I mean? Whatever. You're like in a really close quarters, you know, and it's different. It's like there's somebody always in your face, always. And then, like I said, you never come out of there. You know, you're always in that cell.
When there's side by side, you said it's always in your face, but when they're on top, do you kind of like is it like a little bit of a fake out?
You get a break.
Like, you don't see them anymore.
Yeah, like, see, when I was at my cell in New Folsom, so New Folsom had the bunks, right? Mm-hmm. So what I did is I hung a curtain. You know what I mean? I hung a curtain on the bottom of my bunk and on the back of my bunk. So you couldn't look in from the door and see me, and you couldn't, if my cellie got down or whatever, I could just have my own little space. And my cellie, you know, if my curtain pulled, don't bother me. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? And it's not that I need to be like I'm irritated or nothing. It's just that's the only way to find your own little, like, Fortress of Solitude?
Yeah, peace of mind, like, just
it's the only time even if it's only like 20, 30 minutes of just quiet, like you put your headphones on and you just kick back, read a letter, read a book, whatever you're doing. But when you're in the SHU, it ain't none of that, because you can't hang curtains. You know what I mean? Even when you put a privacy curtain to use the bathroom, we tie it to the vent, but you got to take it down after you use it every time, or that's another reason for them to come in the cell and bother you. You know, if they see it. When you're on the main line, they see that string going across, they don't really trip off it. They'll snatch it down if it's a big search or something, but they're not coming in. If they don't see, they're not going to come and see the line and come in there just because it's there. And a lot of times, if you see cells, you'll see it looks like it'll be a gray wall and it'll look like a little dark mark up on the corner. That's from people using soap, because soap, they'll wet it and stick it on there and it'll be like glue and it'll be on there. But once you clean it off, it's clean the wall. So that little square is where the soap was sitting. It's just
and then
weird.
You got the holes in the door too, right?
Well, that's in Corcoran SHU.
Yeah.
In Corcoran SHU, you got the honeycomb. Yeah, so to fish and stuff like that, you gotta fish sideways because they got the plates. And on the bottom tier, when I was there, on the bottom tier, they had put plexiglass on the outside of the holes because people were gassing and stuff like that.
Mm.
So people couldn't walk by. But the top tier was all just regular honeycomb when I was there. But it's like once you're locked in that room so long, it's like you think you're okay, right? You think you're
Yeah.
fine. You think you're just this is program, whatever. But you get used to being quiet a lot because that's another thing you don't do on a shoe. You don't yell on the tier, and everybody's always listening. So you're trying to be respectful and secretive at the same time. So I might be in my cell, and we talking like at real low tones. You know what I mean? Because there's honeycomb. So anything I say, the neighbor can hear. The neighbor can hear. There's no
Yeah.
like closed off sound. Um, so you get used to talking low and um, being quiet a lot. And the program in the shoe, when I was in the shoe, it was like we'd get up in the morning, we'd eat our breakfast, we'd work out. You know what I mean? Like I get my workout, so I'm not in his way. While I'm getting my workout, he's reading or something. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Then I'll bird bath. I'll put up the curtain. I'll bird bath in the sink, clean the floor, everything else. The whole thing. Uh, um, and then I go sit on my bunk, and this is like maybe 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like 2 3 hours of me just I got the floor, and he'll stay on his bunk. He'll stay out the way. You gotta
Now,
understand it.
now, I don't mean to cut you off, but when you got to stay on your bunk for 2 hours, do you get sore, like because it's you're sitting on concrete, stuff
Now,
like
okay.
that? Like, does
Now,
it
so what you
feel
do is you
cramped?
roll up your mattress, right?
Mm-hmm.
You roll up your mattress in every morning anyway, and you sit on that. You know what I mean? So you basically got it like a towel folded up, sitting on the concrete, and then you got the mattress as a backrest. You're leaning up against the mattress, but you get so used to it that you don't get cramped up or nothing no more because you're used to posting up like that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You
Okay.
like because on the main line you're rolling your mattress up and posting up like that anyway. You know what I mean? Because like even in the cell on the main line, you're not always on the floor. You're not on the floor unless you're doing something or if you're talking to somebody or if like me and you chopping it up. Yeah, but most of the time I'm gonna get on my rack. I talk to you from my rack. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna be right in front of you. It's too close. The quarters are too close, so it's like I'm always right in your face if I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? So I'd rather get on my rack and talk to you from up there. I mean, we on a small room. It's not like you can't hear me.
Yeah.
But so like he'll sit on his bunk, then I'll do my thing, then I get up and get on my bunk and I'll study while he's doing his thing. You know what I mean? I have my headphones on, he'll have his headphones on, working out, and then about noonish, this is my program. I don't know what other people did, but this is me and my celly's program when I was in the cell with my homeboy. And then after the workout time is done about noon, we turn it on, turn the TV on, watch some soap operas. I laugh because we used to watch what's it called? All my our Days of Our Lives at noon every
Uh,
day at work. And we turn it on for Days of Our Lives and be like, because you got to remember, you get into a program, it's like you look forward to that certain stuff.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And all we
It's
got is a
also an
TV.
it's also an escape too. So
Yeah. So we watch the TV, but then you never really realize how much it really affects you until after you get out of the shoe. You know what I mean? Then I got to the line, I got out the shoe, and they sent me to when I first got out the shoe, one shoe they sent me to Folsom. They sent me to New Corcoran one. Yeah, so I went to Folsom for the other one. I had got out the first time I went to New Folsom, I was coming fresh out the shoe, and uh I get on the yard and I'm like remember I told you I went to the hole like my second day on the yard.
mm-hmm.
For 10 days. I came back out, but that's because one of my homeboys is in the cell with a homosexual. You know what I mean? And of course, that's against the rules.
Yeah.
So, I told him to move, and he acted like he wasn't going to move. So that ended up being an incident. You know what I mean? And I went to the hole, and him and his cellmate locked it up. You know what I mean? So they went somewhere where they can be cellies together, or whatever. I don't, but they couldn't be in the yard with me. But
Mm-hmm.
but the mentality that it creates, the like that, like I said, that whispering stuff, that what prison period does to you, not just a whole. It's like every person you're dealing with, it makes you be suspicious. It makes you think that everybody's up to something. The schizophrenia, the paranoia, um, it's not that everybody's out to get you, but you want to stay on your toes to make sure that if somebody is trying to get you, you catch it before they get to you. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that after so many years, like such in my case, what was it, 17, 16 years, 10 months, 17 years, um, of consistent behavior like that. It's like some of the stuff is hard to shake. You know what I mean? Even
Hmm.
today, like, we talked today, and I was like, you put me on hold, and I'm like,
Yeah,
off
it's
the
just,
top, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Just that automatic thought process, like, when it's just we out here in the real world. Hold on, I'm doing something. That's what. Hold on, I'm gonna be right back at you.
hmm,
It's that
yeah,
simple. But the
it's
thought process for people is like automatic, and especially once you've done a lot of time, it's automatic to expect the worst. Hope for the best, of course, but expect the worst. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You just
it's
always expect somebody's plotting, and if you always suspect somebody to be plotting on you, it's hard for somebody to catch you slipping. You know what I mean? It's hard. Not that it can't happen, because anybody, because even a banana, even what's the saying? Even a monkey can slip on a banana peel. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's possible for it to happen, but it's hard it's harder for it to happen when someone is consistently preparing for it to happen. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and
And
you guys are always preparing, but you're always expecting. But the reality is there's three other races plotting against you, and then you
that's
got the interior division plotting against each other. So it's like, what do you expect? It's just
there
mental
always
conditioning.
really is someone plotting. That's the
Yeah,
thing. And if it's not the guards plotting on the inmates, it's the inmates
the
plotting on
guards
the
too. Yeah,
guards, or the guards
yep,
plot. It's always somebody plotting on somebody, somebody trying to get over on somebody, somebody trying to. It's always that's the environment, and it's a jungle. And if you let yourself get caught slipping, it can literally mean your life. You
yep.
know what I mean? It literally mean your life, and that stuff creates psychological damage for people. You know what I mean? When you're like, I was talking to somebody the other day, right? And somebody made a joke about racial, how certain people look at racial situations, not racist situations, but
Hmm.
racial situations, right? Because obviously there's a difference between racial and racist, right?
Yeah.
So racial would just be mean issues that have to deal with a specific racial group. Obviously, that's a racial issue, not a racist issue. Um, but I was talking to a guy, and I was like, he was telling me a story a story about a conversation he had with a individual that was of African American descent, and the way that he reacted to the situation, it irritated me, and my friend couldn't understand why it irritated me so much. And I said, you know what, I can sum this up in one statement. I don't care what race you are. One statement to sum up why I take certain stuff so seriously. If you've never had to literally defend your life because of the color of your skin, you wouldn't understand. You know what I mean? If you've literally, I'm not talking about you've had people do racist, like lock the door on you when you're walking down the
Mm,
street, or
yeah.
not like you because you're a tall native mixed with white. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or you're a bald head Mexican and they assume you're a gang member. Yeah, there's all kinds of stereotypes that all of, even white people, black people, Mexicans, Asians, everybody has to face at some point. You get some kind of stereotype for your own self-expression, obviously, right? But if you've never literally had to fight for your life because of your race,
Mm.
you don't understand why that would irritate me when people play about racial stuff. I'd be like, hey, I don't, because you never see me joking with racial jokes, like,
No.
because it's serious to me. Like, I might say the N word, but I say and I look at it like I say it, I take the poison out the word, because the word is not poison to me. You know what I mean? But when I said that, my friend was like, "Oh, I never looked at it like that, bro." I'm like, and it's not even a big deal. It's just that's why I take stuff like that serious. Because I've literally had to defend. I'm half white, half black. Everybody who's on my subscriber list knows that. All of our supporters know that. Like, I'm mixed. I love my white half just like I love my black half. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? But the point is, I've actually literally had to fight someone who was trying to kill me just because I was black on more than one occasion. You know what I mean? So until that mindset, and then remember, like we talking about how being locked in that box can
Hmm.
affect your brain. These type of things can affect your brain as well. And you have to be stronger than the situation, obviously. You know what I mean? Because I could have came out and had a lot of animosity towards white men and Southern Mexicans. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
could have had a lot, and because I've had both of those two cars, I've had incidents with both of them. So, but what I did is I left prison in prison. You know what I mean? I put certain stuff in the boxes where it goes. You know what I mean? I understand that
Compartmentalize.
right, you got to compartmentalize. Absolutely. Right? You got to compartmentalize. So I put the fact that that racial issue was the racial stuff, the racist stuff that happened in my life predominantly happened in prison. Yeah, there was some little things that happened when I was out of, obviously I shot the one guy, but
Mm-hmm.
that was kid stuff. But if I can't go through my life acting like I'm in prison because I'll be back in prison if I do that. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Um, but basically, like people have to understand that women, incarceration, and in life, period, isolation can be psychologically damaging. It's not just about being in prison, but even when people self-isolate, you know what I mean? Because you can be in a prison of your own mind. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? I know people that luckily I've helped get past it, but people have to understand, and please do that. Being a prisoner can psychologically damage you. You know what I mean? You just have to figure out a way out. I'm not saying it's easy by any means for anyone. Mental health is a serious issue. That's why they're dedicating so much money towards mental health in prisons. But they need to dedicate some of that money out here to mental health too, because just like soldiers have PTSD, our PTSD from going to wars, and salute to all the armed forces. I appreciate you guys supplying our freedom. Let's not
Mm-hmm.
misunderstand that. You know what I mean? I stay wearing some kind of camo. Don't get it messed up. I love my country. But the fact is that inmates, people who've done time, convicts have done time a lot of time and been through some stuff. They have a different form of PTSD. We've talked about the PTSD thing before. We have it the same way that soldiers would have it too, because they're having PTSD for fighting for their life. I have PTSD for having to fight for my life. But I have
Yeah.
PTSD for not knowing if it was coming every day or not. You know what I mean? So
Or who is coming from you. I mean,
which way? Right.
yeah.
At least in certain situations, it's the person on the other side of the book, the other side of the
Uniform,
scope.
stuff like
Right.
that. But I
You
mean,
could tell. But when you
your
got a
own
person that
people.
looks just like me standing next to me and he plotting on getting me,
Yeah.
no.
You're just gonna screw anyone up.
But the biggest thing is to get past that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it's a misunderstanding, we gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Because we grown ups, right? We grown men. So like if my schizophrenia, because it happens, my schizophrenia, my paranoia might make me see one thing, and that might not even really be what it is. But that's why we use our words now instead of our
Mm-hmm.
fists, instead of weapons, instead of violent actions. We choose to walk on a path of growth, and that's what I'm on.
It's taking all the knowledge and stuff that you have before and using it for good now. And
Yes,
the intelligence
absolutely.
you guys have is just it's so high that people don't realize.
And
Man,
yeah,
it can be
it's
used for.
mind-boggling even, right?
Yeah, I mean, talking to
But
JD sometimes, Jesus,
yeah,
2-3 hours,
absolutely.
just damn. I mean, you guys sit around a lot too, reading. So I mean, you know a lot too. I mean, it's that's why I ask
Just
you
about
questions.
what we studied. It's just about what we've studied and our life experiences. It's like surprisingly, like people think, I don't know what people think that we're in when we are incarcerated, what we're in there doing, but we're not in there playing miniature golf and tennis and hanging out and playing basketball with all of our buddies on the yard. You know what I mean?
They
That's not what's going on.
they think you guys aren't trying to better yourselves and learn. They just think you're fighting each other and keeping the gang wars going, but they don't
It's
understand what
definitely
goes
not.
into all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got scholars that are incarcerated. You got
Hmm.
I know a man named Michael Owens right now. I say his name because he's my brother and I can. Um uh Fighting, he has a double life sentence. We trying to get him out now. We working on it. But that man is so intelligent, and he's one of the first people that I pushed up on, like I wanted to get down with him, and he
Hmm.
turned down the fade, and I didn't see him as a B word. You know what I mean? I didn't see him as a sucker. He was like, bruh, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm like, what you mean you ain't gonna fight me? Because you know I'm on prison rules. What you mean you ain't gonna fight me? I need that. He was like, no, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna fight you because you don't have no reason to fight me. You mad over something you don't know nothing about. You mad over the wrong reason, brother. And that man is the first man, and he didn't look scared, nothing. He was just like, listen, you want to fight me for something that I didn't even do. So why don't you let me explain to you what happened? And the brother explained to me what happened, man. And from that day forward, I was like, well, what made you not swing on me when I said I wanted to get down with you? And he's like, because there was no reason for us to be fighting, man. And that just shows growth. You know what I mean? And he was one of the first people that helped me push forward towards away from the violence and learn how to think instead of just being an actor.
Isn't Paul? Doesn't he have his PhD? Paul Scott?
I believe Paul has a PhD in ministry though. But yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
It's still not easy to get.
Oh, absolutely.
Takes intelligence. Takes intelligence.
Definitely. Yeah, and he's still going because he's studying for his PhD.
Oh, okay.
To get a doctorate in religion, period. Like to where he can basically speak to any religion. I believe that's what he said on the video interview that he did with us. Yeah. But still, he got lots of certifications from his prison. He's a certified organ something specialist, and he's got so many he worked in the psychiatric field in there. I mean, there's so many things that people can learn while incarcerated that is crazy. And there it is. So I just want to say, understand that being stuck in a box can have lasting and permanent ramifications that it's very hard to get rid of, but the aim is to try to learn to live with it because it happened. So let's not try to act. The worst thing you can do is try to get past something that happened in your life by pretending it didn't happen. So in my opinion, so the best thing to do is to learn to live with it. Use it as a source of strength. Use it to draw from, to know what you're not going to let happen again. These are only my opinions. Once again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. I only give my opinions hoping that they would help somebody in their path. Once again, this is Nate Dogg 916 and Sandman coming at you live from Sacramento.
Out.